It's been so long since I've been on here. I'm going to share this before I start. I'm gonna wait for some people to jump on. There we are. Share. Okay. How to share this on my personal page. Okay. Shared. I'm shared. It's been so long since I've been live. So long. I haven't felt like going live. I haven't felt like doing much actually, and I haven't been doing very much at all. This is probably the least I've ever done in my life over the last few months. And it's been kind of great. I'm really, I spent so much of my life doing things because I felt like I needed to do things. And now I just do exactly what I want, when I want, and I can feel the momentum coming back inside of me, and I have things to share, and things are coming out. And this is why I'm live right now, is because I'm redoing one of my most popular programs. I had like 100 students in it last year, and that's Invest Like a Queen. And this is, I also have School of Money. These are my two main programs. Plus I do one-on-one work, which is a little different. That's for that's more for business people and people who want to go a little deeper into their souls. But these two programs are mostly about money, and Invest Like a Queen is about investments. And it feels like right now investments are so hot. It's such a hot topic. I'm hearing about it all the time, and most people making really terrible decisions with investing and with their money. And so I'm lucky. I would be one of those people, by the way. I'm just lucky enough that I chose to study economics and finance, and I worked in finance for as long as I did. Otherwise, I'd also be making those same decisions about getting rich quick, and because the stories are so enticing. I get it. And it makes sense. You know, we can see how much the world is moving, how quickly it's moving, and it makes sense that maybe money is not going to be a currency in the future. You know, we can see how quickly things are evolving, so maybe we will have electric cars or flying cars, so why would we not back these great visionaries? And I don't disagree with any of that. But what I know is that that's all speculative, and it's not necessary to take that speculative risk in order to grow wealth. There are two different conversations. And what I talk about is how can you grow wealth so you can have more freedom, so you don't need to always be earning money. You can instead have something there that's going to spit out income for you. How can you get to that stage where, you know, most people when they retire, the statistics are like 60% of people when they retire, they don't have enough money. And so that means they have to rely on government pensions, which are not enough. They have to rely on family, which is not enough. Not only that, women tend to have less financial assets than men. And what that means is sometimes they become tied in relationships that perhaps are not, there isn't much love there anymore, but it becomes a business partnership. It becomes a necessity. actually, because they don't have this financial security. And what I want for everybody is to have financial security. I have no idea what's going to happen in the future. I don't know. I don't pretend to know, and it's totally not necessary to build wealth. What is necessary to build wealth is to take consistent steps to, firstly, to start with a strategy, to start with an investment philosophy, to know what it is that you want, then to understand how investments actually work, how to understand different asset classes. And then from there, choose the underlying investments. What I see people doing now is they just go straight to the investment without actually considering what they want, without considering the actual statistics and the averages. Because I'm all for not being average. You know, I'm not average in all areas of my life. With my clients, my one-on-one clients, say don't look at the averages with your business. Shoot beyond what you think is possible. But when it comes to investing your money, that's not in your control. You're investing in other businesses. You're investing in the economy. It's not in your control. It's outside of your control. Use averages there. Use statistics, and then that is investing. If you do it another way, if you're going against averages, if you're going against statistics, you are gambling. So going against averages and statistics means you're active investing. That means that you are buying and selling based on what you think is going to do well, based on what someone else has told you, what someone else has read, based on your intuition. And you're going to buy and then you're selling. That's active investing. You are going against averages and statistics if you are investing in cryptocurrency. 90% of people lose money. By the way, 80% of people lose money in the share market. 80%. That is a huge number. But here is the caveat. You are also losing money if you're not investing because of inflation. It's literally eating away your investments. If you are investing in property, your returns are lower on average than in the investment market with the way that I teach. So if you're doing these things, you are, and I'm not saying don't invest in property, by the way. I'm just saying if you're investing in property, also look at investing in the share market, because that's what's going to build wealth at a more sustainable rate, and it's also going to diversify, right? When you invest in property, it's a huge amount of money and it's generally one lump sum and you're not able to diversify. When you invest in the share market, it's much easier to diversify. So you can do both, by the way. It's not one or the other. So if you're doing these things, then you are not supporting your future self in the most educated and effective way. You're essentially not giving yourself the best chance to build financial freedom for yourself. So how is it that you actually do this? Because there is so much noise about investing in this, investing in that, quick, make a decision, this fear of missing out. And there is kind of, you are missing out when you're not investing in the share market, but it's not something that's about today or about tomorrow or about next week. It's actually irrelevant what the prices are. It's kind of also irrelevant what's going to happen in the next 1 or 2 years, because I don't know. The recovery has already been priced in to the value of most companies. And if something happens again with COVID and there is, another wave, there are more lockdowns, then the prices of those companies are going to fall because the recovery has already been assumed and priced in. But what I teach is that is not even relevant, because you're investing for the long term. So 1-2 years it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the market crashes, because you stay invested. You're investing for forever. Not for 1 year, not for 5 years, not for 10 years, not even for 20 years, for forever. And why would you do that? What's the benefit of investing forever? It's just kind of like putting your money in a treasure box and then throwing it into the ocean. You're never going to see it. No, when you invest in shares in companies, they pay a profit. because they're actually selling something. They have a service or they have a product that they sell. You are now an owner of that company. So guess what? When they make a profit, that gets paid to you in the form of dividends. So when you're building assets, when you're building investment portfolio, you actually start to get paid passive income. You're not making money based on selling something like you are with crypto. Property also pays an income too, right? Through rent. It's not about that. It's not about trying to sell something when it's high and buying when it's low. It's about building wealth consistently over time in quality companies that are going to pay you income. So then you have a pool of assets that is going to provide you with income for the rest of your life, so you don't need to work for money anymore. So that when you get to age 70, you don't need to be asking the government for money. You don't need to be looking at buying the cheapest brand of butter because you only have $50 a week to spend on discretionary. You are essentially setting yourself up for the future. The thing with what I teach, and the thing that is so difficult and is frustrating for me, is that most people want things right now. And if you want to build sustainable wealth, it doesn't happen right now. It takes time. I used to work with family offices who were kind of super rich families that essentially run their money like a business because they have a lot of it. So they generally employ investment officers. They have a team that they employ. These are families that have, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars. They all invest in the share market. All of them. All of them. Every wealthy person that you know would invest in the share market because they know that this is what creates passive income. This is what builds wealth. But they also know it doesn't happen overnight. They know that it takes time. They're not putting pressure on it to have a result right now. They don't look at it every day. That's the other thing I see is people who are investing right now, especially people who are investing in crypto, they look at their portfolios every day. This is a huge mistake. This is not conscious, sustainable, educated investing. This is not investing, this is gambling. And this is what I see most people doing. They're gambling. They're gambling with their money. And most people will lose. Like I said, 90% of people who invest in cryptocurrency lose their money. 90%. Why would you go with that statistic? Why would you bet that you're going to be the 10%? Because you're probably not going to be. Maybe you will once, but then when you do it consistently, just like how averages work, it's going to catch up with you. Why not use the averages that are on your side? And that's investing passively in quality companies. When I say passively, it doesn't mean trying to time the market. It doesn't mean actively trying to pick them. It means just investing in the index. And you do it over time. You invest no matter what people say the market is doing, whether it's high or whether it's low. You consistently invest. And this is where the power of compound interest comes in. But it takes time for the magic to really happen. Not 10 years, not 20 years, not 30. Yes, it starts to happen then. But really, like when you get to 40 years, compound interest is friggin' amazing. I want to do a calculation for you so I can show you the exact numbers because it's really, really amazing. But most people won't do this because they are so focused on instant gratification and wanting things right now. And so they will never build sustainable wealth for themselves. And that's just the way it is. These are probably also the people that, want the quick diet, the quick fix, the quick way to lose weight. When when something happens in their relationship and they're not feeling it, they're quickly out. They quickly feel like something's wrong. They need a quick fix. When they're so reactive to the external environment. And I don't believe that's a fault of them. I believe it's because of the world we live in, it's so fast, it's so quick. So we're so used to this instant gratification. You know, when I go out for dinner, I see people on their phones while they're eating while they're sitting with a friend. You know, they just put their phone next to them with it up, like waiting for somebody for something, or they'll even be scrolling through it, you know, while they're talking to somebody. Like, so many people don't have this focus or this presence anymore, and that's what it requires. It requires you to have that diligence, that focus. You need to have a practice about being present, about being consistent, about staying the path, about not getting distracted by shiny things around you. Okay, I'm going to tell you what the power of compound interest does so you can see. So if you invested $100 a week, which is $400 a month for 10 years, and you invested in the way that I teach, that gives you an estimated interest rate of 9.8%, right? By the way, averages, the past is not a predictor of the future, especially when we're doing a short amount of time, like 10 years. It becomes much better predictor when it's 20, 30, 40 years. So we never know, right? It might be much less than that, might be much more than that. I don't know. Then we do semi-annually. Most companies, they pay dividends quarterly actually, but I'm just going to put semi-annually here. So in 10 years time, you would have contributed $48,000 and your portfolio is worth $78,000. So essentially you've made $30,000 in 10 years. It's pretty good, right? $30,000. If you just had that money sitting in cash, if you were contributing $100 a week and had it sitting in cash, that's actually going to lose value. You're going to have less than $48,000 in today's value. So if you have money sitting in cash, essentially that your assets are losing value because of inflation. Obviously, we want to have enough money in cash that we don't need to be selling down our investment. So we want to have enough money in cash so we can pay for our day-to-day expenses. But we want to have this balance, right? So remember this. So 10 years, you have $80,000 and you've only contributed $50,000 essentially. Just round it up so I remember. Okay, now let's go to 30 years. So 30 years, $100 a week, you now have $800,000. You have contributed $140,000. Your portfolio is worth $816,000. So let's say $120,000 your portfolio is worth, and you've contributed $140,000. That's insane. That's insane. You only needed to contribute $140,000 and your portfolio is now worth $820,000. You haven't done anything other than stuck to your strategy. It's only been $100 a week. You probably didn't even notice it coming out, and now you have that lump sum sitting there. Then let's go, this is really where the magic happens. We add another 10 years on. So it's only another 10 years. You now have $2.2 million. $2.2 million from investing $100 a week and staying the course. $2.2 million is going to give you over $80,000 per annum in passive income, plus your portfolios continue to grow. You don't need to sell anything. You don't need to sell anything. That $2.2 million stays there and it grows. And you get $80,000 per annum in passive income. You have contributed $192,000, let's say $200,000, and your portfolio is worth $2.2 million. That's $2 million that you didn't contribute that now you have. And you're not doing anything risky. You're using averages and statistics and math. You've only been contributing $100 a week. You're not investing in random stuff. You're not taking, you're not hoping for anything. You're using statistics. You're using math. This is the difference between investing and gambling is vesting is means guaranteed. Gambling, not guaranteed. When you're investing for this amount of time, this is actually investing because this is pretty much guaranteed. Because then the averages make sense because we're investing for such a long time. $2.2 million from $100 a week, investing in solid investment strategy. You're not doing anything risky. You're not doing anything complicated. You're not even looking at your portfolio. You just have an automation set up. It's just direct debited. You don't even look at it. You do nothing. You go along with your day as per usual. And you are on the way to building 2.2 million from $100 a week. And then when you start to increase that $100 a week, obviously this just increases rapidly. It moves so much faster. So let me give you an example. If you really wanted to accelerate this and you wanted to invest, something crazy like $200 a week, let's say $200 a week. So that's $800 a month. You now have $4.4 million from investing $800 a month. $4.4 million. You're rich. I'd consider you rich with that. That is more than enough to produce. Now that produces an income of over $160,000 per annum from these dividends that the companies pay out. But for this to work, it takes time. And it takes staying the course. And so what I do and what I teach, it's not something where you get rich quick. Use your art for that. Use your mastery for that to bring in money, and then you invest it in this way. You can make as much money as you want. But when you're investing, don't try and do anything out of the averages because it's not in your control. Even I used to work with amazing fund managers, with the best fund managers in the world. Right? These are people who've been to Ivy League schools. They were so smart. They worked such long hours. They got it wrong 70% of the time. 70% of the time, because they're actively trying to pick what investments to invest in. 70% of the time. They did this as a full-time job. They were much smarter than you, in this way at least, with finance, with investing. You might think you're smart with this, but I'm sorry, you're not. I'm not either. I just know that I was taught this stuff, and I've experienced it, and I've seen it, and I put it into place, and I even teach it myself. I even teach it. I even taught it to other financial advisors. I even taught it to the CIOs of the big retirement funds. But when I say I'm not that smart, it's that what I mean is this is information that that is based on math. I'm not making this up. It's not subjective. It's not something that I've created. It's literally based on math, on averages, and on statistics. But people forget about it. They think that they can, they can beat it, and you will not beat it over time. And investing in cash, you are losing your wealth if you just keep your money in cash. And you're probably going to lose it too if you're investing in random companies or you're investing in crypto. I'm not saying don't do that. For my clients, invest 5-10% in this kind of stuff. And play with it. Have fun, sure. But don't bet your hard-earned money on this. It's unnecessary. You don't need to do that. Okay, so I'm going to drop the link for Invest Like a Queen. It's open, and this program teaches you how to build your own investment portfolio. I teach you all of the fundamentals of investing. Plus, I also teach you about the aspects you need to know around the economy, the effect of interest rates, of inflation rates. I teach you more about compound interest as well. And you will actually build out your own investment philosophy, and you will know how to build and manage your own investment portfolio by the end of the program. So I'm going to put the link below in the comments, and I'll also put it up the top in the details of the name of the program. And send me a message if you have any questions. Bye.